Hello, it's the ign-uk-podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. Stuart Reid is me. I am, and continue to be, and will be until the day I die, which I think will be about 3 weeks. Luke Kamali sits to my left.
Hello.
That's for those of you who are listening to the audio-only podcast. Christopher Tilley is sat to my right.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Hello.
I like your jacket.
Thank you. It's summer, isn't it?
It is very summery.
Yep.
In summary, it's quite nice. Anybody been up to anything interesting this week?
Yeah.
Have you? Can you talk about it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to say last week.
Oh.
I peed. People like my toilet stories, don't they?
They do. It's true.
It's not. It's more an anecdote than an anecdote. But it's
Good.
yeah. I went for a wee at the premiere of X-Men: Days of Future Past, and there was an African American man next to me, and then a Geordie, a big chubby Geordie guy, who was trying to get his camera to work, and he didn't get it, and it ran out of battery. It was all a bit strange, and the African American gentleman left the toilet, and the bloke said to me, "Oh, what are the chances you try and get a picture with Wesley Snipes and your camera dies?" And so I said to him, very kind of looking down my nose at him, said, "Mate, that wasn't Wesley Snipes." Kind of laughing at him, and he went, "Oh." And the next day I saw the picture in the papers. It very much was Wesley Snipes.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I could have seen his blade.
Why didn't you think it was Wesley Snipes?
Because he looked different, but I guess that's what prison will do to you. Because obviously Wesley's been away for a couple of years now. Tax evasion. Yeah, he owed the government a lot of money.
Wow.
And so he seemed to have put on a little bit of weight and grown his hair out a little bit.
Prison food.
And I wasn't really paying much attention either. I was trying to do a quick wee because I was worried I was going to miss the start of the film. So
I think, what we really want to know from this story, Chris, is did you miss the start of the film?
no.
Good. I'm pleased about that. What's going to happen with Gary Barlow? Is he going to go to prison?
It's a dream, isn't it? What, for crimes against music?
Oh.
Oh! No, for tax dodging.
He's already got a few criminal records.
Hey.
No, he hasn't broken the law, has he? I thought that was the point, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, he's just
if you pay
evaded
it back.
Yeah, he's been clever with loopholes. But I also went and saw Paris, Texas last night. Classic Wim Wenders movie.
No relation to Paris Hilton.
That's what I was wondering. Thank you for that.
Sam Mendes presented it as his Epiphany screening, and it was very clumsily linked with his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory stage show, which is quite a strange Q&A afterwards.
They are two things that just do not really gel.
No, and yet poor Danny Lee, the host, was trying to make Sam Mendes say how Paris, Texas influenced Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
What?
And if you've seen Paris, Texas, it doesn't really.
No.
But Charlie and the Chocolate Factory looks quite good.
Does it?
The stage show?
Yeah, Dan saw it and liked it.
Yeah. I think...
Have you seen it?
No, but one of my friends went, and I think the glass elevator at the end broke down halfway through, and so they were kind of just suspended over the audience in a glass box, unable to really do or anything other than sing.
I would have squatted and done a poo.
Oh, no.
That would have just...
That's probably why you don't have a career in musical theatre anymore.
That's why I'm banned from most West End theatres.
But Mendes did say he's hard at work. They're hard at work on the Bond script, which is his next project.
Nice to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, obviously not last night. He wasn't hard at work, he was dicking about introducing a film.
Yeah, but he dashed off quite quickly.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, that's promising. Then maybe he had an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to get this one in quick. Let's move on to news that's been happening this week.
Okay, so the first piece of news we have is a little bit of news of the weird, if you will. So apparently the Pentagon has a battle plan in case of the zombie apocalypse.
What?
So CNN, reputable news source, has seen an actual Department of Defense document laying out the US military's plan in the event of a zombie apocalypse. So we have the document on site, but supposedly a spokeswoman for the US... You're not meant to say that, are you? You're meant to say spokesperson because it's...
Luke, you're allowed to say spokeswoman.
I don't know if you are. So anyway,
you're gender neutral.
Well, a spokesperson for the US...
It's like an action man down there, Chris.
Is it?
Yeah, like a dolphin's nose.
Why did he show you and
This is
not
when
me?
we do our news videos. We just kind of share our problems. So anyway, a spokesperson for the US Strategic Command stressed the training document is not a US Strategic Command plan. It says so necessary steps that be taken for the public awareness, military contingencies, reconnaissance, the environment and civilian authority. And it ultimately stresses the importance of the headshot.
No.
Apparently
really?
so,
Nearly choked on my chewing gum.
Is this a joke? Are you messing around?
No, so by all
Why
accounts...
are you wasting time on the podcast
I'm
with this
not.
nonsense?
This is the kind of shit that we need to talk about here because no one else has given it the attention it deserves.
I wonder how much...
Brad Pitt is.
Well, yeah.
Spent 3 hours doing it last summer.
But will there be shows...
How much money has the Pentagon wasted on this planning for a zombie apocalypse? Sorry, not apocalypse, attack.
The only assumed way to effectively cause causalities to the zombie ranks. That does say causalities, but it should say casualties to the zombie ranks.
This is nonsense. You're making this
tactical
up.
force is the concentration of all firepower to the head, especially the brain.
This is nonsense. You're making it up.
I'm not.
It
This is a
must
real
be.
thing.
I think this is some sort of spoof.
Well, you talk to your mate Jim Vegvoda because he put it on the site and see what he said.
Can we get him on the phone?
He's probably in bed still. It's LA time there. It's like 5 in the morning.
Not
or
my
something.
problem.
Supposedly, it's basically just an impossible scenario that can never be mistaken as a real plan, so it's a training doc. But whatever.
Sorry, so it's an impossible scenario.
That's what spokeswoman said anyway. It's CNN that did this, and not me. I'm reading to you.
Why have you put it on the podcast running order?
Because Krupa thought it would add much needed
Are
levity.
you passing the buck?
Krupa asked for levity.
He's not on the podcast.
See
Why
what,
are you
he was.
see what he's done there? He's pooed on the podcast by not being on it and just given us nonsense to talk
He's
about.
framed me again.
He's having a laugh, mate. He's mugged you off.
He's mugged me right off.
Can you bring
me.
this back to some sort of truth sphere,
Yeah.
Chris?
All right.
Sphere.
Next story. Aliens have been found in Liverpool.
What?
No.
He's
See, I was
making it
messing
up.
about.
Why have you done the
That's
Illuminati
funny.
sign there, though?
Is that Illuminati?
an
I always
Illuminati
doodle. I always doodle.
Oh my god!
I have secrets.
Yeah, no, that's the eye.
It's getting dark. It's getting dark.
Well,
yeah.
out of the blue today, they started shooting Star Wars in the last week, from what we know, and J.J. Abrams has released the first behind-the-scenes video and image. None of us were expecting that.
No.
It's to do with a charitable organisation that they've teamed up with. But yeah, it's a little video of him talking about the fact they're making the film, and he's all very excited and happy, and telling people how they can get involved with this charity that's going to give money to UNICEF.
Wow.
But at the same time, a little alien walks behind him, a little new Star Wars alien.
Oh.
Who looks very much practical and puppet and not CGI.
Brilliant.
Looks like something out of Labyrinth, like something that the Henson Workshop would have made.
Nice.
Someone else pointed out he looked a little bit stoned as well. Not JJ, but the alien. But yeah, it's quite a funny little moment, and it's like, it's just exciting. It's getting a little buzz. Like,
real.
it's happening.
Is this in Abu Dhabi that they're filming?
Yeah, they're shooting in Abu Dhabi. But the charity that they've launched, to raise money, you can pledge $10, and everyone that pledges $10 gets entered into a contest to visit the set when they're shooting in London and meet the cast and appear in the film.
Can we do that? Can we put our money in?
Anyone can.
Oh, well,
Go on.
maybe I will.
Have you got $10?
No.
You haven't, have you?
No.
You're always skint.
And
For someone so upper class. Mind you, that's what they say about the upper class, isn't it? Never got actual any money.
no, exactly.
Got
Why would you
property
need
and all
it?
that, yeah.
So they're going to make a fortune.
Who?
Star Wars.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, what's
Well,
the charity?
A Force for Hope or something like that.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's a UNICEF charity.
well, that's good. That's good.
Awesome.
It is exciting, though, isn't it, to know they're using puppets and animatronics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
when a big blockbuster's made and you kind of get, behind the scenes videos of it, and it's just all stuff against the green screen, you kind of go, a bit boring, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much fun to shoot either.
Doesn't, no. Imagine it wouldn't be.
I do imagine it's quite difficult to get good performances where day after day you're just against green screen and nothing really changes. Like,
Do you think that's what was wrong with Hayden Christensen?
that's part. In fairness, that was blamed because I think Natalie Portman's actually quite good, but she's wooden as anything.
Yeah.
In those films, and Ewan McGregor, who has moments of brilliance. And
No, he
other things.
doesn't.
It's moments of tolerance and other things.
Nah.
And he's not great.
He's a vastly overrated actor, in my opinion, wouldn't you say?
He's good in Trainspotting.
Yeah. One film, Chris. One film.
Moulin Rouge.
Nobody comes out of Moulin Rouge smelling of roses, my friend.
Jim Broadbent does. He has a lovely time.
John Leguizamo does.
Yeah, he looks great.
Little John. Young Adam.
Yeah. I have to take your word for that.
Let's.
What's Big Fish like? Something to do with
It
fish.
depends how hungry you are.
Hey!
It's all right.
Okay. Right. Well, okay, we've done enough Ewan McGregor for now.
Yeah.
So, the box art of Far Cry 4 was released this week to much hoo-ha.
It was. So, Far Cry 4 was officially announced, and everyone was like, for about 2 minutes, everyone was excited.
Well,
and
it was
then
like, wow, amazing. Fancy them releasing Far Cry 4. Who'd have thought that was going to happen?
I know, right? But then everyone was like, oh, dear God, it's racist, the box art. So, for those not in the know, there is a lighter-skinned, blonde-haired man sitting on a desecrated statue while resting his hand on a kneeling, darker-skinned man. So, of course, everyone was immediately like, well, this is racist.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, the lead art director has come forward, Tom Hutchinson, and I think his name's Tom Hutchinson? No, Alex Hutchinson, sorry, and said, just so it's clear for those jumping to conclusions, he's not white, and that's not the player. So, I don't know why anyone kind of would have assumed it was racist, realistically, because like, Vass is on the front cover of Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
This guy is clearly a despot who has, and we know some plot details have leaked. He's a despot who's kind of taken over this village and is like subduing all the inhabitants. So just because it's depicting a character who's racist or a character who's a despot, all of that, doesn't mean the artist is. It's not an endorsement of this guy's views. So, and surely, we're taking this guy down. We're, freeing the natives in theory.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it's a storm in a teacup. But,
It just goes to show how quickly these things can get whipped up. It only takes one person to tweet about how they find it mildly offensive or something, and the whole thing just gets completely out of control within seconds.
Well, I understand the need for kind of equality in games and all of that, but you're seeing issues where there aren't any, and you just don't need to do that.
Yeah, we were talking with Thomas Tull about that the other day. He's the head of Legendary Pictures, who've released Godzilla, and we were asking him about the fact that people were saying Godzilla's fat in it. And it was just based, he said one Japanese person saw a picture or something and tweeted it, and suddenly it's become a story, the Japanese think Godzilla's fat. You've seen the film, he's not fat. Nobody's saying that. It's one person has put it out there.
Yeah, that's the story. One person thinks Godzilla is fat. That's the
snowballs.
story.
And they might not have even thought that. They might have thought, I'll put this out there and
as
see
a
if
joke. Yeah.
I don't understand the world anymore.
No.
I don't, Chris.
I mean, I don't want to bring proceedings down, but I'm just fairly depressed.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Good.
So that's
it would do wonders for ratings if you killed yourself on the show. I'll just put it out there.
especially now we're doing video as well.
Yeah,
video.
it'd be great.
In case you're listening and not watching, tune in.
Do go viral.
So is that the second non-story you've read out today, Luke?
Well, it is. I promise the third one is a real story, but yeah, I think we're all in agreement that this is not.
This is not a story.
This is not racist,
Yeah.
and the Pentagon aren't planning for a zombie attack.
No.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear your final story.
My final story is good, I promise.
Are zombies racist? That's his final story.
Bringing the two together.
Meanwhile, Blockbuster News.
Yeah, this is
not Blockbuster. The
This
video
is
rental
non-news
people.
as well, really.
Oh, wow.
But non-news that I bloody created.
Okay.
So I had a sit down with Hugh Jackman a little while ago to do an early interview about X-Men Days of Future Past. And I got chatting with him about how annoying it is that all the different studios own rights to different characters. And so superheroes that would team up in the comic books can't team up on screen. And he was saying that is frustrating. And I said, well, pretend you're that 8-year-old kid who doesn't care about studios and this and that, and you could have your dream team up. What would it be? And he said, easy, I'd love to see Wolverine join the Avengers. I think it should happen. And I said to him, well, when superheroes meet each other the first time, they have to fight each other in the comics. And he's like, well, that's easy. He'd fight Hulk. They both got anger management issues. And he said, I'd love to see Logan have some banter with Tony Stark as well, and the two of them falling out. And you could see how excited he was getting, just kind of talking it out. And I was just like, yes.
Did his bathrobe fall open?
Yeah, and loads of adamantium claws came out. It was weird. It was just nice to see him talk quite honestly, because normally when you interview actors, they kind of clam up when you talk about rights issues and what the studio can and can't do that they work for. But he was all over it, so. And I'd never really thought about it. Wouldn't it be awesome to see that fight on screen?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Though? Yeah, it really would.
He was just saying though that although it would be awesome to watch, he said it would be quite hard. It would be quite painful for him to shoot, because Hulk's a CG character, whereas I'm the one that's going to be beaten up.
Yeah. Very true. Because wasn't it Spider-Man who everyone was saying originally should be in the... He's in the Avengers, right?
Yeah, he is, yeah. Yeah, and we've been asking Avi Arad about that. So it was just nice to have a bit of speculation with him. And there's another story we're running. I haven't posted yet, but might be up by the time the podcast goes live. And that's him saying, kind of admitting that they messed up Deadpool a little bit in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and that he'd like to go back and do that again and make a really good Wolverine Deadpool movie, which I'm sure will get the fans excited.
Do we know if this is his last hurrah as
No, he's doing one more Wolverine and one more X-Men movie, and then they're talking about him retiring. But when I was chatting to him, he said, although I know I should and my body might give up, he said, I don't want to really, and I don't like the idea of someone else playing this character.
Yeah. And they're never going to retire Wolverine, right? Like,
No.
the character.
No,
Good
so
happening.
I think he'll go as long as he can until he drops.
Yeah.
And of course, didn't Mark Miller write Old Man Logan,
Yeah.
which is kind of the Unforgiven take on him? So that would be awesome to see in 20 years' time or something.
What a lovely goodbye that would be. Good stuff.
Lovely stuff.
Last bit of news, Luke.
So yeah, real news, but old news. So Halo 5 Guardians, we didn't discuss this last week, so I felt that we should kind of bring it up. So Halo 5 is real. It's called Halo 5 Guardians, and it is coming out not this year, as was originally thought, but it is coming out in autumn 2015.
Okay.
Quite a delay. So
Why is that?
I guess, well, there's been lots of snide jokes about them wanting to take all the Kinect features out.
Yep.
But I reckon it's probably to do with the fact that, we've heard rumours about Halo 2 Anniversary coming in November, with beta access to a multiplayer section of Halo 5. And now that's been upgraded to the Master Chief Collection of Halo, which will be Halos 1 through 4 remastered for Xbox One.
Should we do a Master Chef joke at this point? No.
Okay. So, I think it looks as exciting as it ever did. There's nothing really new.
There's damning it with faint praise.
No. I like Halo. It's exciting, but it's very, very far away.
I like Halo.
It's not my favourite of the games. I will say I do like Halo 3 multiplayer a lot. So if this Master Chief Collection does turn out to be real, that's exciting because I had a lot of good times at university with Halo 3 multiplayer.
Oh, that's nice.
Everyone else out getting laid and me there on my own home. It was fun.
Okay.
So let's congratulate Luke on what was almost a story he just
well
told.
done.
So
Thank you, yeah.
Video game to be released next year.
And I don't think I actually wrote any of those stories on the site, so there you go.
We move on this week. Daniel Krupa is not here at the moment, but he was here earlier on in the week, and he had an interview. He spoke to somebody over at Machine Games, which is the company responsible for Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein.
I knew you were going to do the accent. I knew on the day it was released.
Did he?
Yeah, well, on the day that Wolfenstein was released, so...
That's how important we are here. Yeah. So anyway, this is what he had to say.
Today I'm joined by the narrative designer at Machine Games. This is Tommy Torton Bjork. Have I pronounced that correctly, Tommy?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I've got an unusual surname, so everyone kind of messes that up all the time.
Okay.
So Wolfenstein, The New Order, or Wolfenstein, came out today. And reviews came out today as well. Firstly, what's it like when reviews come out for your brand new game? What's that kind of process like? Is it quite nerve-wracking?
Oh, it is, definitely. I mean, I woke up at 6 o'clock just to check out the reviews. So it's definitely exciting, sort of like going on a first date.
So what have you thought of the kind of initial reviews? They're kind of a lot of positive ones, and then it seems kind of a bit of a split. It seems mostly positive there.
Yeah, I mean, game has just come out, and we're just excited to see everyone's reaction to it and see how the fans like it. And I think it's really exciting.
Yeah. So firstly, Wolfenstein is a very famous kind of name within video games. It's one of the first shooters back in 1981. I'm wondering what it was like making a new installment in that franchise. Was the original game, the original series, an active influence, or does it now kind of function as a kind of, I don't know, a form of nostalgia?
Oh, it was definitely major influence, especially the 1992 version, Wolfenstein 3D by id Software. That was sort of our main source of inspiration for this installment, to go back to the roots of the first-person shooter genre. But we also have elements of the first Wolfenstein game, which came out in 1981, which was this fusion of stealth and action gameplay as well. So we have that in this game as well, where you can, as a player, you can choose between doing a more deliberate gameplay style with the more stealth focused, or going in with dual wielding assault rifles, just guns blazing.
Yeah, that element kind of surprised me, because I guess from a lot of the marketing campaign, it's played up kind of the more kind of gunplay for obvious reasons. But there is a lot of stealth sections where your kind of primary weapon is a knife. Why was that important? Was it again to go back to the kind of spirit of the series?
Yeah, I think so, and also to give partly to give players great variety in how they can choose to approach combat, but also it gives us opportunity to change the pacing. So it's not just always hitting this same note over and over, but we can provide a variety there. So
do you perceive that as something of a problem within the modern shooter, this kind of ratcheting up to 11 constantly, trying every set piece to outdo the last one?
Yeah, I think especially when you have with the game experiences, you have this it's such a vast amount up, so that it doesn't become tedious or becomes a chore. So you have to change the pacing and give it a lot more variety in what gameplay scenarios you put the players in. So I think that's incredibly important. Just like it is when you have a TV series, you want to have a variety in there as well.
You spoke about going back and kind of channeling the spirit of Wolfenstein. What kind of still marks it out from a lot of shooters? We mentioned briefly kind of that stealth element, but is it just Nazis? What else is it? What else is it that defines Wolfenstein still?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, of course, this pure action shooter element is definitely part of it, but also the mix of the alternate history type of setting, which it's almost always been since the Wolfenstein 3D game came out, where you have this dark science fiction amidst this World War II setting. I think it's sort of a signature thing with Wolfenstein.
Actually, that kind of leads on very nicely to a question from an IGN reader who came into our office for a Wolfenstein event. This is from Colin Furr. He says, how much research did you do on the actual Nazi party from World War II and their plans for Europe once they had won the war? Is there any of that kind of material out there that says what their kind of the next stage in their kind of grand plan was? Or
yeah, I mean, we did a lot of research because we wanted to get that history right. When you do an alternate history, you want to sort of ground it in that reality and then take it off into another direction. But there are a lot of things you can read up on how they planned what their plans were once they had won the war. So, for instance, how Berlin would be turned into this Germania, it was called, which would be the hub of the world, sort of. But we spent a lot of time researching both how the ideology, of course, but also plans for technology, architecture, stuff like that, was important to create this dystopic environment where you can feel the oppression of the Nazis overbearing the world.
So it's got a very strong kind of background to it. It's a very strongly realised world. But there's also, I think a lot of reviews today were picking up on this, that it does something that kind of a lot of modern shooters don't do, and it has an investment in character. And obviously, you can talk more about that being the narrative designer. But was it always crucial integral to the plan for this game to have this kind of clutch of kind of well-drawn characters?
Yeah, of course. That was one of the things that we are very passionate about here at Machine Games, and we've always been passionate about that. Which you can see in games like Chronicles of Riddick or Darkness, which many of us worked on, where we believe in telling a good story in games, and creating interesting, well-developed characters is really important to us. And I mean, when you experience a story and meet characters in a first-person game, it becomes so much more immersive, and I think you can do a lot of things with that which you can't when you tell stories in other media like books or movies.
That's interesting. You're saying the first-person genre, the first-person kind of perspective that video games give creates very strong emotional attachments. But is there kind of, on the other side, does the genre of a first-person shooter kind of make it harder to do those kind of story, character-based narratives? It seems like a lot of other examples in the genre struggle to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's partly why we prefer not to call it a first-person shooter, but a first-person action adventure, because there's a lot more to do than just shooting. And I think that maybe we shouldn't be so restricted to that word. I mean, it's a first-person experience. That's sort of maybe that's more what you want to start with, and then you can try to explore what kind of gameplay scenarios can we use where you have this first-person experience.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I imagine like a lot of people when they approach a game, they don't think of a genre in mind. They think of the game they want to make. The kind of the genre is a byproduct of how games are marketed these days, and obviously FPSs are hugely popular. Now, I want to talk about something else with the kind of the marketing of the game, and this is something another IGN reader picked up on. This is Hamish Jadev. He says that he thinks that obviously Inglourious Basterds seems to be kind of an influence in a lot of the marketing more than the game, he says. Is that true? Would you say it's kind of more prominent in the kind of trailers for the game than the game itself?
There is a bit of that influence from the spirit of that movie, definitely. And that movie is sort of an alternate history movie. So there is some of that, definitely. Maybe it's more apparent in the trailers, but we definitely have it in. And as I said before, we wanted to provide a great variety in the what tones and what notes we keep hitting both in the story and the gameplay. So there's a great variety in it.
I wanted to talk about something more serious about obviously the content which the game depicts. You know, it's depicting unspeakable atrocities, incineration chambers. My grandma herself was in a prisoner of war camp. She was tattooed. It seems like the game does want to make a kind of a statement about the suffering of war and how it touches individual people and kind of ruins their lives. Is that what you wanted to do? But at the same time, were you kind of, I don't know, conflicted about the fact that you want to do that, but at the same time it is a kind of action-adventure game. There's kind of a little bit of a tension in that. And by that I mean, like, you can watch kind of a war film and you come away from Schindler's List, for instance, thinking it's a great movie, but you might not say particularly that you enjoyed it. Whereas I think with the game, there's more pressure to enjoy the experience.
Well, I think that you can have a great variety of emotions that you can experience, and we have like a 20-hour long experience here, and I think you can you have room to have a lot of different experiences. And I think for us it was really important to when we built this world, which was ruled by the Nazis, that we wanted to show the horrors of this world, and we wanted it to feel the themes of this feel authentic. So that was definitely important for us, I think.
I think it's a much more interesting game than I was expecting. I hadn't really followed it in the kind of pre-release at all. I hadn't played it until a review copy came in, but I think it's a much more interesting game than I was ever expecting. So now that you've finished work on this game, we've got the final question here is from Tarek Osmond, who says the future of Wolfenstein. It seems like it's already been a kind of critical success. Obviously, a lot of these things are contingent on sales figures, as always, but does Wolfenstein have a future at Machine Games?
Definitely. We'll definitely have to see how this, how the fans like this installment. But we have so many plans for the future. Obviously, I can't spoil anything, but I think it's such a rich world that we've created, and there's so many things you can do with it. So we have a lot of opportunities with different things to do with it, and it would be really exciting to have the opportunity to do that.
Was there anything that you wanted to put in this game and had to take out at the last minute, or?
It feels like we got pretty much the game that we set out to do, which is great. It's not
it's unusual
often that you get to do that. Yeah. So we had this goal in mind, and now here we are. It's great.
Great. That's it. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you for giving us your time today. Wolfenstein's out now on a variety of formats.
Interesting stuff. I'm guessing, because I didn't actually listen to that.
Me neither.
Through the magic of editing, we're actually just seconds away from when we were before we did that bit.
Yep, but nothing has changed.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell them, Pike. Moving on to Feeder Update. Feeder Update? Feedback Update? Feeder Update.
No, we love the band Feeder here, so what have they been up to? Those Welsh rockers.
Doing very well. Better than Lost Prophets, so there you go.
Oh, God, too soon?
What? Not too soon.
Okay, good.
Okay.
First bit of feedback this week comes from...
Toby Fisher, who says, as an old fan of Power Rangers, I'm thinking about how Lionsgate is going to make the film appeal to teenagers. The only way I can think they do it is by giving them black suits rather than wearing the multicoloured rubber suits. But I'm not sure which way would be better, whether they should make the movie stick to its roots or just make it more Transformers and trying to badasserize it.
Is that a word?
It is now. There's lots of hyphens in it.
Where?
Well, it's double D, which I think
like
is...
badasserize.
Badasserize. Well, we should use it.
Try and get badasserized tonight.
Are you?
Yeah.
Have a curry. So, basically, I think they need to keep the coloured suits, because I like the coloured suits, and that's the point. It's the pink Ranger and the green Ranger and the red Ranger.
But I guess they could be clever and just have, like, piping. Pink piping and green piping and blue piping. No?
What are you piping?
You know, you have piping, don't you? Around your collars and around your...
Oh, I thought you meant, like, full-blown plumbing, and I was like, that would be weird. They're not, like... powered by steam.
If you had your plumbing full blown.
Hey!
Don't talk to me about plumbers.
Oh yeah, Tilly's had a bad week.
Forgot to ask, how did it go?
450 quid to fix my bathroom.
Oh dear.
Gone in 2 hours.
Really?
Oh, it's just so depressing.
Was it an O-ring?
Stuart, stop bringing the conversation down.
I'm just asking, mate. Just asking.
Just the way I'm sitting.
Remember that really cold winter we had about 2 years back?
Yes.
I was the last person leaving my university house, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll do everyone a real favour. I'll turn the heating off, because why are we leaving the heating on? So yeah, I turned the heating off, and obviously all the water in the pipes froze and expanded, and burst the pipes.
How much was that?
That was about 200 quid.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I just had a little leak.
I had to do some other things to get that cheap.
We can stop recording if you want.
It's dribbling down my leg. Sorry, we've gone off on a weird
so
tangent.
Power Rangers, I think, should definitely keep the coloured suits, and I think you can still appeal to teenagers. You just make the fights less kind of hiya, wucha, and like kind of all.
It's racist.
That is racist.
Not my words.
That is Far Cry racist.
Not my words. I've forgotten who makes Power Rangers. Bandai Saban?
Saban, I think it is. Isn't it?
So it's their words. Anyway, so I think you keep
they
them.
actually used those words to describe Power Rangers. Did they, Luke? Did they? They
put those words in their mouths.
Did they?
Is this libel that I'm doing?
Did they?
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt. So
Duck
yes,
Hunt!
I think they should keep it like they did. Anyway.
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Paul Hope has written in saying Duck Hunt, which has become our new cry.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Paul. He says,
I'm really pleased about this, because I didn't think anybody was going to write in and say Duck Hunt this week. I was really upset that it was going to die and wither on the vine.
This has been my gift to the podcast, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Duck Hunt. I was listening to another of your podcasts from the IGN family. All are good, but lack the witty British humour, which I love. Thank you. And one of the editors made a comment about how peripherals such as the instruments included the Rock Band are now in the garbage.
Oh.
I still love playing those games, but I realise I must be in the minority. With the news that Microsoft is to stop bundling the Kinect with the Xbox, is this indicative of the end of peripherals? Other less successful creations come to mind, such as the iToy and PlayStation Move.
And the Tony Hawk's skateboard.
Yes, and
Remember that?
the Wii Fit board. Remember when you couldn't get one for love nor money?
That's right, yeah.
For about 2 months.
For about 2 months.
I'm on one right now.
Here you go.
It was going to change. It was going to revolutionise porkies, wasn't it? Everybody was going to be slim and healthy because they were going to stand on a Wii board for 10 minutes every single day.
And now it's gone.
I miss all my Rock Band stuff, though. I used to really enjoy playing that.
I still got my Guitar Hero guitar. The Guitar Hero 3 guitar. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I mean, it's weird because you've got... So Harmonix now doing... Disney, Fantasia Music Evolved. So that's a Kinect game in which you kind of conduct.
That might be fun.
Move, I don't think Move is dead. Move still has some life left in it. And you've got the Morpheus, obviously.
Well, Move is going to partner with Morpheus, we think, don't we?
Exactly. So, and I'd count... Would you count Morpheus as a peripheral, an Oculus Rift? I think I would.
I think so.
Yeah, so I think it's just moving in new directions, isn't it?
Less plastic tat, more expensive tat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
Bigger margins.
Of course.
He adds that Stuart is still the oldest man in the world.
I think that's probably about right.
That's fair point, yeah. Hey, Joshua Piggott-Smith is written in.
Oh, I remember him from his friend who wrote in.
That's right. Hello, guys. I realise your illustrious podcast has now devolved into a very drawn-out messaging service.
It's true.
Yeah. But just to let you know, I did work in a pub with Mark a few years back. He too was a stand-up bloke, and as you can imagine, he's never been afraid of piping up with some kind of wisecrack without needing any invitation.
I don't know if these two are friends.
But I do acknowledge how ridiculous my idea sounded, so Mark, I'll let you have that one. Cheers, guys. Keep up the good work.
Apologies, but I didn't listen to last week's podcast. What the hell's going on?
So someone wrote in last week, because Josh has written in a couple of times now.
I think we can call him Josh.
I think third time he becomes friend of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So Josh...
Piggy. Let's call him Piggy.
Piggy has written in a couple of times before.
Piggy Smith.
And he has... And someone else wrote in last week being like...
Mark
wrote in saying, Joshua Piggott-Smith... Is that the Joshua Piggott-Smith I used to work with?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? As you can probably tell, he was a really nice bloke, but as his letters show, not one for good ideas. Not really an ideas man. And so we were like...
Funny.
And so, anyway, Piggy's now written back in and said...
Yeah.
Can't they take this offline or maybe do
Friends
it over?
Reunited charges subscription. We are free. So, there you go. But there you go, they know each other, that's nice.
That's nice to know. Let's end that conversation there.
Great, Alex Burton says, hi chaps, love the podcast. In episode 2...
Podcast? Lukey boy.
I've got a cold. It's
Freudian
just not
slip,
been...
yeah, I've got a cold.
Yeah.
Like being prodded.
In episode 231, Daniel mentioned the Visionaries, which no one else seems to remember. I certainly do, and agree it would make a good film or even series reboot. When reminiscing, I remembered about the Dino Riders also and how this would look on a big screen. Jurassic Park meets Avatar with the way they communicate through tech instead of ponytails when they talk to the dinosaurs. Now, I don't know what Visionaries is, but Daniel mentioned it last week, and I didn't know what it was then.
Okay, now I can explain what Visionaries was, is, and could be because Dylan Wynn has written in.
So you should be aware that there was also a photo attached to that email, which I've cut off.
Oh, well done.
Well, I saw it on the email, though.
There you go.
It looked cool.
Dylan Wynn says, Yo, Dylan. Visionaries was dope.
Well, I am.
That's it.
Hey?
Awesome to hear a name check, as I loved it back in the day. The toys were really cool and the cartoon stroke comics were awesome too. The toys are a larger version of the Hasbro G.I. Joe line with the same articulation and posability. They came with unique animal totems represented as holograms on their chest and a staff-type banner thing with a holographic deity that they could call upon like a special move. They started out in the back of Marvel UK Transformers comic, which I own every issue of, and it told the tale of a distant super-advanced planet much like Earth on the verge of a celestial event. A planetary alignment sends this technological paradise into a medieval savage landscape, the total antithesis of what it was. Magic rises to take over technology and the world is thrown into a Mad Max survival story, but with an Excalibur vibe, the dark John Borman film. Forces of good and evil arise from the ashes and become the Knights of the Magical Light, the magic being the animalistic avatars the characters can project from their chest armour and fuse with, plus the superpowered deities that inhabit their staffs, like the hero leader Lyric, whose avatar thingy is a lion, has the god of wisdom as his superpower. Super dope, super awesome.
You know, you don't have to read.
I was going to say, you probably could have highlighted selected bits of
just
that.
a couple of bits.
You wanted to know what Visionaries was?
I don't know if I'm necessarily any the wiser.
Wikipedia.
I thought we were running a little bit short this week, so I thought I'd just pad it out.
Okay, well, you've also highlighted all of my next one, but it's Tilly's next, I think.
Yeah, okay, well, you can edit as we go then.
I will.
Feel free.
Because that goes well, doesn't it?
Always. Guaranteed.
This is from Adam Kwan, who says, Stu was right, which is something we've never had an email on that subject before.
6 years. 6 years of waiting to hear those words.
With digital filmmaking, you absolutely can release two different versions of one film easier than ever. The Wolverine being an example. James Mangold fought for the R-rated cut of the film, but had to settle for it when the DVD and Blu-ray was released. The DVD still had the 12 rating, but there was a good plethora of alterations that made the film more violent, with the addition of blood, squibs, limb breaks, and swear words.
Yay!
Not sound like a Looney Tune, but it was 100 times better than the cinematic release. I've avoided certain films in the cinema after I read that there was a director's cut coming out because I felt I was going to see half a film. I've heard that. I've thought that a few times as well, and I think I did that with The Wolverine as well. But then I went to watch it in a hotel room and fell asleep. So that backfired.
Amazing.
But equally, I feel like sometimes when they tell you there's going to be a director's cut coming, it's a marketing ploy to get you to double dip.
Yeah, the longer, harder, unrated version.
Yeah, particularly with horror films.
And comedy as well, a lot of the time. They just have a few F's and Jeffs in there.
And I've got lots of horror directors who've released the version they wanted in cinemas, but then had to do the harder cut.
Really?
Yeah, the so-called director's cut. Yeah, definitely. Oftentimes,
so they're actually happy with the one that goes, yeah.
Definitely. I won't name any names.
Okay.
He also said I was scared pooless.
I think we can say shit.
I forget where we drew the
Shipless.
line.
I'm saying ship.
Right.
As in boat.
Okay.
I was scared shipless by Paul Verhoeven's films when I was younger, but ironically avoided seeing the remake of RoboCop because it was too tame. I think we all could feel that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which leads on nicely to this missive from Simon White in Chelmsford in Essex. I was a huge RoboCop fan with lots of action figures, and I constantly bothered my parents to let me see the film, which they wouldn't let me do due to the violent scenes. So my dad got 2 VCRs and edited me my own version of the classic movie, taking out anything that was non-child friendly. The RoboCop kids version clocked in at 27 minutes and was my favourite movie for a number of years. I now realise how much work this was for my dad, Graham White. What a legend.
That's amazing.
That's
Well done, Graham White.
What the hell happens in RoboCop when there's no violence, sex or drugs or swearing?
Simon, if you've still got the video,
27 minutes about.
can you get a copy of the video to us? Because I would absolutely love to see that version of the film.
So 1 minute he's a man and the next he's a robot and you've got no explanation as to what's happened. Because that's about the most violent bit in the film. You must have been so confused. Talk about having to fill in the blanks.
But this is also confusing. He says here, I should add that he didn't edit all of Paul Verhoeven's classics, as a few years later he took me, aged 9,
What?
and my brother, aged 14, to see Starship Troopers in the cinema, not realising it was an 18 certificate.
Oh, there's some great boob in that.
Oh, there is
and
some
a bit of
excellent
bush.
boobage.
Yeah. What did 9-year-old
Simon
think of that?
make of that? Good
Bloody hell.
God. That's quite remarkable. I'm not sure if that's fantastic parenting or abusive parenting.
Did you pick up the Nazi metaphors when you were 9 years old?
It's a bloody good film, that, though, Starship Troopers.
It's a
I
great
haven't watched
film.
that in a long time.
Maybe give the sequels a miss, though.
Yeah, and the remake. Did we have the remake? I can't
Nah,
remember.
never happened.
Didn't it?
Never happened. I only actually tried to watch the first sequel. I'm sure people were right saying, "Oh, they're good. The sequels were good." I only watched the first sequel, and I managed about half an hour. It was so dire and boring.
Was it? Yeah.
But I think Casper Van Dien's rejoined the franchise recently, so
Lord.
it's good news.
Yeah, that's great news. Did you self-edit for this?
I haven't tried yet. I'm going to do it on the fly.
Here we go.
You threatened me. So Emmanuel Begome. Going to go with that. Would you say that? Begome?
Where? Bigombe.
I don't think so.
Emmanuel Bigombe. I bet you it's Emmanuel
Well,
Bigombe.
whoever you are, Emmanuel. You're an expat who lives in Hungary and you're an avid gamer. So Hungary is part of the market segment that no one really gives a... We agreed that we could say ship.
Ship.
No one gives a ship about. But he's an English-speaking expat in Hungary, so he belongs to a segment no one really gives even less of a ship
Hoot.
about.
Yeah. So hang on, he's English-speaking.
He's English-speaking
Yeah.
and he lives in
expat.
Hungary.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So Hungary doesn't get a lot of games, but English speakers in Hungary get even fewer games, is his argument.
Okay.
So with the release of Assassin's Creed 4 came out with major Eastern European subtitles and text in Hungarian. Didn't have the option of having it in English, so all menus, subtitles, and in-game text were Hungarian. Same with Dishonored. So he used Google Translate and YouTube to get through them, but he feels he missed a lot of the experience. Mm-hmm. Apparently Watch Dogs is set to get the same treatment.
Yeah.
So he guessed he can expect the same. He said, I doubt it makes any sense to order from the UK because my PS4 is likely region locked. Even the IGN app is region locked to my PS4 and I had to create an American account to use it. As far as I know, PS4s are not region locked.
I didn't think they were either.
PS3s definitely were not region locked.
I don't know.
But as far as I'm aware,
No.
they are not region locked.
Here's the thing. If you knew this was the situation for the previous generation, wouldn't you have just bought a British PS4 or a British Xbox One and had your games imported? Is there a reason to not do that?
Or not move to Hungary.
Maybe he had to move to Hungary, Chris. Maybe he's a spy.
Yeah, Chris.
Shit. Might have given the game away.
We may have given the game away.
Ship.
So what do you think? I mean, would you not do that? If you had to live somewhere where you knew this was a problem? Or maybe the exchange rate is terrible and you couldn't get one, I don't know.
I
Come
don't
on,
know
Luke.
why you wouldn't... Well, I wasn't aware that the PS4 was out in Hungary.
Neither was I.
Well, there you go. So You can look. I remember because yes, I do remember my best. Hey.
Can I just say we've made a massive mess of this response to this email?
Yeah. No, but
we're
look,
all over the place.
You know
we are
what?
flailing. We're drowning.
You know what? If Emmanuel cared, he could have Googled "Are PS4s region locked?" He wrote in for bants, and my God, is he getting?
He's been banted to the max.
He is getting bants
Good
all over the
Manny.
place.
Manny, send us some more details because I want to know why did you buy?
He does actually sign it, Manny.
I know. I saw that.
Oh,
yeah. Manny,
I thought you were just like affectionately abbreviating and doing a damn good job.
Thanks.
So
I have a question for Manny.
Well,
Why did you go to Hungary?
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know why you went to Hungary, and also Google. They're not region locked. That's a fact because I know they're not region locked.
That's
so
good.
import your games and have a lovely time.
And also, let us know if you know Joshua Pigott-Smith, Manny. You might do.
Everyone seems to.
Yeah.
I
Good old
have
Piggy.
the email of the week here. It's an email that put a smile on everyone's face when they received it in the team. It's from a gentleman called Joshua Woodward, who says, "Howdy.
Howdy, Joshua. Duck Hunt.
I love the podcast and listen every week." That's a nice start.
It is.
I run a new bar in Covent Garden called the Craft Beer Co.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
I can't sponsor you, sadly, but I will buy you guys a drink if you ever fancy popping down sometime. You guys rock. Thanks, Josh.
Now, the deep irony of this.
This is interesting.
Yes. So, about what? Maybe a month ago? Was it Alex was saying that he wanted to start up
A beer club.
a craft beer club.
Yeah.
And he was looking for a venue. Mm-hmm. And he said one of the venues that drew his eye was this craft beer place that he was like, we should go and check it out. And so in actual fact, I don't think it was last Friday. It was last Friday. Last Friday. We were going to go down there.
We were heading down there at 4. We were going to knock off early and
at
go
4
there.
and go and like have a chill out and have a reflection on the week. And we all got kind of a bit swamped, and so we didn't make it.
Didn't go.
But you were on our radar, friend.
And then this email came in.
Promising us a free round that we were going to pay for anyway.
I'm going to go down this Friday. Well, no, he's getting free advert now.
Yeah.
We should definitely
So
get...
now
Well,
he's sunk now.
That's got to be a burger as well, then, for all this...
I'm not a big fan of beer, so if there is wine available, I would... But we can work that out.
The Craft Beer Company in Covent Garden. There you go. You can use that one. And that's got to be worth a bag of chips.
Also does wine. Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. I mean, we'd definitely take you up on that offer. I'm thinking about going there this Friday. I hope you listen to the podcast as soon as it goes live. And then you can greet me with open arms when I come in at about 6 p.m.
You should wear your Ducking Chris Tilly t-shirt so he knows who you are.
Yeah. Blast from the past.
Yeah. That's it for feedback update.
It feels like it's been really short.
Well, we had that bit in the middle that we didn't...
But I don't know how long that bit in the middle is. Okay, I mean, maybe it's just short.
That's going to be fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
IGN_UK feedback at ign.com is the email address.
Quite a few people have asked us to change that.
I think we are trying to change it.
I don't know why we don't just make an outside account. Like,
I don't think we're trying that hard.
I think we could just make a Gmail account and just then, because then we don't have to wade through other emails, right?
It's the same address for the superhero show as well.
Yeah, it's really confusing.
And, I think Daniel won't change it just because he knows how much it annoys me every week. And equally, I can't remember it every week, even though it's been like that for 2 years.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we may change it, we may not. Basically, it depends if one of us can get off our ass and
Can we change it to something completely random and bizarre?
Pink Flamingo, is it?
Yeah, or Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt at ign.com.
I'm happy with that.
All right, we'll work on that.
But that's not it right now.
Don't send it, no, don't send it now.
Right now it's IGN_UK feedback at ign.com.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on at great
seamless to games and movies that are coming out this week. Chris, hit us up with the list of movies that are going to entertain us or otherwise this week.
There are 4 films coming out this week to talk about, and I've seen one of them.
This is going to be short.
Excellent. So we've got Fading Gigolo, directed by John Turturro and starring Woody Allen.
Apparently very good.
Was that a sequel to Juice Bigelow?
Juice Bigelow, Fading Gigolo. Could be.
I don't know. Do we still like Woody Allen? I don't know how we feel about Woody Allen right now.
Apparently, his performance in this is remarkable. It's not like hey, what are you crazy? What am I? Yeah, it's a proper performance, as if he's a proper actor.
Yeah.
And John Turturro films in general are pretty good. Did you ever see Romance and Cigarettes?
Yeah, I did.
Terrific movie. Box of Delights. Was it Box of Delights? Box of Moonlight.
No, didn't see that one.
Yeah, probably a little bit slower, not quite as good, but always interesting to watch. And I always remember when I went to see Romance and Cigarettes, John Turturro introduced the screening. It was only a small screening room,
Luke just yawned and made a face if people are watching this on video.
I didn't.
The grown-ups are talking about films.
I'm sorry. I don't... Okay.
There's a film coming up that you can talk
about. I know which one it is.
But he was really sweet when he introduced the film, saying, look, I really hope you like it because, you know, it means a lot to me, this film. But not in that kind of usual kind of producer way of coming in saying, hey, I really hope you enjoy the film and all that. It was really heartfelt, you could tell. He's a nice guy, John Turturro, isn't he?
Yeah, quite serious chap.
Yeah.
And I sent someone to interview him for Romance Cigarettes, actually, and they came back and said it was great, but very serious. Not a lot of fun. So, yeah, check that out if you want.
I would. I'm going to check it out.
Are you?
Yes.
Maybe you can come and report back.
Probably not.
Out this week, we have Blended, which is the new Drew Barrymore Adam Sandler movie.
Yes.
Which I've not been invited to see, and it looks like no one's been invited to see it anywhere in the world yet, so that doesn't bode well.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
No.
It's awful.
They're reuniting the Dream Team trying 50
genuinely
dates.
awful looking film. It's two divorced couples with a couple of kids each. I don't know why I'm telling you. You should probably know this already.
And they all get put in a blender.
If only. Now, I pay to watch that. But they end up going on some deluxe African holiday, these two families, and they hate each other at first. And then, of course, guess what happens? They end up falling in love.
Do they partner swap?
They end up blending.
What, they reconnect with their own partner?
No, they reconnect with each other. They connect with each other. So Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler end up being partners.
Although they were not partners originally.
No, sorry, I obviously didn't make that clear.
Not at all.
No.
Good.
It's about as clear as the film makes
So
it.
when I said they partner swapped and you said no, you actually mean yes?
No, because their other partners aren't there. They're already divorced.
Oh, so you didn't say that.
You didn't say that either.
Isn't it funny? I could have sworn I said the word divorce.
Oh, maybe you did, but we didn't hear it.
Yeah, I think you said divorce, but you then said, but then they all go on holiday to whatever, and I was like, oh, well, they go with their partners then.
Yeah, I thought it was 4 people on the holiday.
It did sound like that.
There's more than 4 because they take their kids.
Oh, bloody hell, how many kids do they have?
2 each.
Right.
So 6 in total because
I feel
they
like my
take their
brain's in a
partners.
blender
I would have
right
thought
now.
8.
But these two actors have had 2 sizable hits when they have worked together before.
Wedding Singer?
Yep.
50 First Dates.
I've only seen The Wedding Singer.
51st Dates made
Didn't
me
they do
sad.
another one as well? A remake of a Nick Hornby film?
No, that was Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore.
Was it?
Fever Pitch.
Right.
Do we care for Adam Sandler? I don't care for Adam Sandler.
No.
With one exception.
Jack and Jill.
No, with 2 or 3 exceptions.
Okay.
I like 2 or 3 of his films.
Punch Drunk Love?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I
No?
think-
Don't know.
Okay.
I think The Wedding Singer is really good.
Haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'd
It's
agree
really
with
funny,
you there.
and I like bits of Happy Gilmore as well.
And of course, Little Nicky.
Oh, and that... Yeah.
So maybe don't see Blended. Luke, one on your mental level. Postman Pat.
Postman Pat, yeah. Is that Neil Morrissey doing the voice in that?
No.
Who's doing the voice in that?
Stephen Mangan.
It's never been Neil Morrissey doing the voice. You're thinking
Stephen
of
Mangan. What did he do the voice in? Bob the Builder, isn't he?
Builder,
Yeah.
yeah.
He supports Crystal Palace as well.
Who does?
Neil Morrissey. He's often there drinking too much. Postman Pat. I have seen a fair bit of footage from this one, and it looks like an abomination to me. I do genuinely love Postman Pat.
Yeah.
I love Paddington, and both these films have been made in the UK in the last couple of years. And Paddington, they look like they're getting right what Postman Pat has gotten wrong. They've turned it into a big, loud, animated film for kids. It's Postman Pat crossed with Britain's Got Talent.
Oh, dear.
And it's just... Everything I saw of it made my heart sink.
The timing is off for this as well, because obviously with the closure of I Can't Sing, the X Factor musical, it's game over for this kind of stuff. I think. Why have they got? Why? And also, kids that have been brought up with Postman Pat and still watch Postman Pat on CBeebies, they're going to go to the cinema, and it's not going to look the same as it does at home. It's not going to be that cute puppet animation. No. It's going to be a different voice actor. They're not going to like it.
It's going to confuse them, isn't it?
I didn't like it. I mean, I might be proved wrong again. Like I say, I've not seen it, but everything I saw was ugly. It made my eyes hurt.
Yeah.
And it just why didn't they get in touch with Urban Animation or something? It felt like a cheap, quick cash in rather than something that's been made with love and care.
Oh, of course it does.
Maybe they'll do it with the Fireman Sam movie.
Well, do you know what I'm genuinely hoping for is a Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom movie.
Don't know what that is.
Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom is one of the funniest shows on TV. It's obviously aimed at kids, but it's very, very, very funny. Trust me on that.
I will.
If you're ever up in time to watch it in the mornings...
What time is it up?
It's on about 8 o'clock?
I can do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have a look, see what you think. Report back to me.
I'll do it before work.
You too. You can Sky Plus it, Chris.
I could, and I have another film that we've not talked about yet, which we probably
He's not going to, is he?
I don't think he is.
I
think he's
might
lying to
do.
you.
I'm up at 8. I've got better things to do. The biggest film of the week, which we should have kicked off with, X-Men Days of Future Past, which I've seen and I bloody loved.
Yeah?
I want to see that.
Dan saw it and he bloody loved it. Our guys in the States saw it and really loved it. So yeah, this is one that we were worried could have gone either way. There's so many characters in it. But Bryan Singer's nailed it. It's great to see him directing an X-Men film again. He really knows what he's doing.
He does.
The action scenes are fantastic. The way he juggles the characters and the drama is really good. I mean, there are a lot of mutants that are introduced that just have very small parts to play. They're just literally like superpowers rather than characters.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's all part of the fun of it, you know. And some you like, and I'm sure we're going to see in future films. Others probably will go to the wayside. But it's the main characters really get a lot of screen time. It's a film. It's Wolverine, Mystique, and then it's really young Xavier and Magneto.
The old guys don't get much of a look at.
No, I mean Ian McKellen spends most of the film just kind of on the sidelines, really, and Patrick Stewart has a few more scenes, but it's really the youngsters in it. And actually, the thing I was disappointed with was the big crossover scene. Actually, I probably shouldn't go into spoilers, really. But,
okay.
Yeah, the old meeting the young didn't happen as much as I was hoping it would in the film.
Okay.
But it's not just a good superhero movie, it's a really good time travel movie.
All right.
Awesome.
I like the sound of it.
Yep.
Those
Fully
are-
recommended.
Brilliant.
Games coming out this week, Luke.
Games, so we've got 2 big games. I think... So the most successful one, actually, and we gave, I think, a 9 to, was Transistor, which is a lovely little indie game that's out for PC and PS4. And Marty Sliver did that, reviewed that.
What's it about?
It's this weird game. So the combat's fantastic, and in terms of there's a lot of replayability in it. It's very, very hard to explain. It's
You're doing a terrible job so far.
Yeah, it's an isometric kind of top-down game, and it's an action game in the sense that you're going around. There's a combat system that is quite unique. Very, very difficult for me to explain. Check out the video review on that.
I think what we've worked out here, Chris, is it's very, very difficult for Luke to explain this.
Is it?
Yeah.
You should have said that.
You know
then.
what? I've got a cold, and you should just be nice. Okay.
Say he's got a cold.
And then the other one, which needs no introduction because we've already heard about it today, is Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Oh yes.
Which again has gotten favourable reviews. I know Daniel is enjoying it very much.
I preferred Wolfenstein Joy Division, but I would.
Let's see what you've done there.
Thanks. Any other games, or is that it?
I think that's it. I don't get that joke you just made there.
No, well, you're too young, you fetus.
So if people are only going to get one game this week, which one should it be?
Ooh, tricky. I would say if you've got a PS4, I mean, Transistor is a digital download, right? It's not full price. I'd say go for Transistor, but Wolfenstein is definitely worth it.
And what's Transistor about?
It's fun.
And
Very difficult to explain.
it goes without saying, X-Men Days of Future Past is the movie you see this week.
Yeah.
Or Fading Gigolo, if you fancy something a bit low-key.
That's Thor.
Oh! And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should wrap this up and say thank you very much for listening. Stroke watching, if you did one or the other, or perhaps you did both. Well, you probably did do both if you were watching, because you'd also listen at the same time. But if you're only listening to the podcast, you might not have watched it.
Or stroked.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Duck hunt.